It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back. We have another video that was suggested by one of you guys in the Discord community. And this one has to do with survivor techs, and I wanted to actually cover it from a killer's perspective to try to offer like some counters for each of these techs. So, because I think it's pretty informative. I know that like a majority of people probably are not interested in like the educational side of DVD, but I figure we can shake it up and talk about something a little bit different today. So shout out to Unworldly Line 47 for suggesting this video. I wanted to at least go through each tech briefly and just kind of cover specifically how to counter these things. So let's go ahead and give it a look. See here, let's see what the first tech is going to be about. So we have the CJ tech. Now, hopefully we can actually get like a visual example for you guys that are curious, which I think it'll be shown here. As you can see, very old tech, and basically, as you can see, they try to blind you as you are trying to pick up the survivor in front of a pallet, because what you're trying to do essentially as the killer players, you're trying to basically pick up, but they're, you know, what ends up happening is because they're vaulting over the pallet, it cancels out your interaction and it immediately goes into the next interaction from where the input was placed. So say for example that your pickup button is like spacebar or something. If you press spacebar and there's two prompts that have the, you know, obviously to either pick up or break, it will just immediately go to the next prompt. So it'll go, okay, well, they can't break the pallet, so boom, pick up instead. Now what they're doing is manipulating, you know, and exploiting a sort of bug in the game, essentially, in that kind of sense, where they are canceling out your prompt in order to be able to force you into an animation lock to go for a blind. So in this case, obviously, as it's being stated in that video there, it's quite old. It's like 2017. And obviously this ties into what I've always been stating, which is like, you know, a lot of the strength from survivor usually comes from like exploits and things that you can't counter. And this is one of these things that thankfully, because I've played this game long enough, I'm able to tell you easily how to counter it. And there's a couple different strategies you can do. Now, one of the first things that you can do, right, you know, just to quickly give you a little crash course, would be when in this situation, right, like right when he's here, right, instead of trying to break the pallet mindlessly, what you want to be able to do is because if you see them like they're trying to bait it out, you can stand there and just try to either take the blind and see if they vault, or you can either like look down and see if they want to like vault over, because a lot of the time what they'll want to do is get in there to cancel out your prompt as quickly as possible. So that's the idea usually when they're trying to do this tech. So a lot of the time what I will do is I either will wait and see if they vault over, and either I can get the hit, or if they're injured, I can like grab them, you know what I mean? So like I'll wait till they vault over, I can grab them off the pallet. I'll have two people down at the same time, and then, you know, in this case we can just obviously hook from behind. Another thing that I would do, because a lot of people weren't doing this around the time that I was facing this particular tech, what I would do is I'll spin around and then put my back to them. So basically how, you know, how they're looking at us with their back to us in this picture, I guess you could say, or this clip, what I will do is turn all the way around and start looking at the like toward the hook side. So a lot of the time they don't see me, like they don't expect that. So I'll be literally looking in a completely different direction so they can't blind, and then I'll be picking up. So they literally have to vault over and then attempt to try to blind around my back, basically my back, you know what I mean? So of course that's usually, you know, what I would do in that situation. You could try both ways and see which one you like works for you. But those are usually two ways around it. You can also just try to either leave them on the ground, go around, and then break it on the other side, so that you can't obviously cancel that prompt there, because it will be pointless. So that's good, a good just two different solutions for against that tech right there. So that's usually how that goes. So now we're gonna go ahead and try to take a look at the other method here, which is the locker pickup thing. Now, this is something I see a lot of, like very beginner focused, like the TikTok brain rot survivor content usually like stems from. Looks like this basically. And as you can see, what they're trying to do essentially is the same thing with the, you know, exploiting the prompt and trying to essentially get you to mispress. And instead of being able to pull out of the locker, because they're jumping out of it, that means that there's no prompt for the locker anymore, therefore allowing for them to be able to pick up, and then they'll just use a flashbang. Now, in this situation, what you want to do is either bait it out, right? Because a lot of the time what you can do is go back and forth and see if they jump out. I'll usually do that. That's usually what I'll end up doing. Because keep in mind, there's two ways, like, this is the great part about countering this. There's two ways around it. You can either walk up to the locker so that they can jump out, and then you can pull them out. You know, if you guys know about the grab animation for that, you yank them out because they're literally going to be stuck in their animation and you're grabbing. Or what you could do is try to walk back and see if they have head on or something like that, and see if they jump out to try to stun you with it. And then from there, if they whiff it, or if they try to hop out, then you can just get a free hit. And usually to avoid, which is another method that stems from this as well, that I don't know if it'll be covered in the video. But what I will say though is that if you're seeing people jumping in out of lockers, do not, I stress this so heavily because I see a lot of beginner killers do this. Do not like click your M1. You need to hold. You need to back up and hold the M1, because if you yank, I call it a yank, if you yank them out of the locker, you're gonna get blinded, like every time. If you pull them out manually, like with the space bar or whatever, then you're not gonna get blinded because they already took that out of the game. But if you do the pull animation with your left hand, then yeah, no, you're cooked. Like, you're gonna get blinded, and you don't want to do that. So I want to see if there is another one in here. I want to see if they have like another tech in here that we can discuss. Oh yes, okay. So this one is another exploit that the game has for the killer, and this actually has to do with your hit cooldown animation. This is something that once again exploits the limitations of your killer, which is obviously probably going to be shown in the video, and it has to do with, like, if you're at the gate, like right here, as you can see in this situation, where the slinger is kind of stuck in the exit gate, and what they're doing is they're trying to heal so you can't pick up the survivor, and then you're forced, keyword forced, to M1 them, because keep in mind, with this tech, you're forced into a lose-lose situation. You either hit them and then they pretty much get out scot-free, you can't do anything about it, or if you let them heal, they can just body block and then they still all escape. So there really is no situation that you can really get around that. Now, Slinger is very special in the sense that he can kind of target a certain person and try to like grab them specifically. The problem is the hitboxes, because they're so close together, it might grab the wrong guy and then you just still can't do shit. So yeah, and then obviously even with the clip, like at this example, they have buckle up and we're gonna live forever and all that stuff, so they're gonna have endurance anyway. So yet again, another tech that we kind of get screwed over for, and hard to say you can counter it. I would almost honestly say it's not really much of a counter that you can do, because it's like if you let them pick up and they're right there, I mean, they're not gonna let them die, like, but if you hit them, then you're on a hit cooldown, they get picked up or they run away and they're still being able to crawl right out. So because of the fact that you're in your wiping cooldown, they're still just going to be able to keep crawling. So it's just, yeah, hard to say that that's much of a counter. That's more of just like an exploit that you can't really do anything about. Now this one is an interesting one, the FOV tech. The FOV tech is quite easy to take care of. A lot of the time is you just need a lot of patience, because a lot of survivors will try to do this. Even at my level, when I'm playing my characters, they'll try to do that, and I'm like, bro, it's not gonna do anything. Now the only thing is that with this tech, it might screw you over if you're a console player, because aim assist is very disgusting on console. I think it's way less on PC. But console, like it'll lock your camera in place a lot of the time. So even if you are going for just a normal lunge, it will just like pull your camera like to the side or away from, or jerk it somewhere else, pause, and that literally will cause a lot of issues for you, which will extend the chase even further, which is really annoying. And so as you can see, like, which this is what you see a lot in those, like, you know, those TikTok brain rotted, like, you know, clips where you have like a beginner killer who starts swinging at the wall for some reason. Now with this, obviously, if you're seeing them do that, obviously that just requires patience and timing. If you're swinging at that, like, you need to calm down. Like, just relax, pay attention, and just focus on trying to get in your range, because you should not be just swinging at every little thing you see. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You're not using a fly swatter. You're you know what I'm saying? You're not trying to get that pesky mosquito flying around the room. Like, that's not what you're trying to do. Okay? You're trying to take down a survivor here. You're trying to take down another player who's trying to get you to miss and extend their chase. Focus, lock in. Like, and in this case, all you got to do is wait. Or even more so, you can just hold down the lunge button. I've done that before too. When they've attempted to go for that, I literally would just lunge so that by the time they go back to running straight, I'm already, like, my knife is already hitting them in the spine, and then they're pretty much getting hit there. So you can do either or. You can wait it out, or you can just continue by holding down the lunge. You know what I mean? Pretty easy. And a lot of the time they'll try to do that around corners and things like that. Just assume that they're going to do it, and you won't ever get caught by it. Very easy stuff. Now, obviously, they're also exploiting the aim assist, so some cases, if you're on console, that might also be the case. But obviously, you know. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the next one is. That's what I'm saying. I don't know why people swing at that, no less. Yeah, yeah. Anyway. So the window tech, yes. So this one is not too difficult either. They usually, what they're doing with this one is that they exploit like collision a lot of the times, or what they try to do is they try to like jump behind you. The main thing that you want to focus on with this particular tech is obviously trying to stand still and see where the scratch marks are going, because a lot of the time you basically only have two directions to look at when you vault through a window. They either went to the left or they went to the right. But the last thing you want them to do is to be able to give them space to get the prompt to vault right behind you, because that right there is going to give them a gigantic amount of distance because of your vaulting animation being so slow. So in this case, obviously the counter is right there. Just stand there, stand still, you block it, you look, turn your camera to the side, look around, be like, yo, where do they run to? Right? That's going to be your best counter against that, because this is what happens. Nemesis starts walking all around. I'm like, I don't know where the hell they're going. I'm like, stand still. Like, why are you turning around all confused? And then bro is gonna start swinging out the window over there. Oh, where'd he go? I'm like, come on, bro. You're better than this. You got this, brother. Don't do that. Come on, man. So let's go ahead and see what the next one is. So this one's called the 360 tech. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. So I think I've actually done that before. When it comes down to when I have played Survivor, like usually when I run out of options because my teammates have used all the pallets, I have actually attempted to go for the 360s before, just to try to at least gain a little bit of extra time and buying extra distance. Once again, like I've said, even with the FOV thing, just be patient. Don't sit there swing at everything you see. Like that's the first mistake you're gonna make. Don't do that. Stop. Slow your ass down and pay attention. Be like, yo, they're gonna try to like do some nonsense. They're gonna try to mess with and exploit my aim assist. So be patient, pay attention. You know what I mean? Be like, hey, they're gonna try that. So just expect that they're gonna do it and wait. Or if you're like myself, you'll spin with them. My DPI or my sensitivity on my controller, depending on what I'm using, is quite high. I'm usually maxed out my sensitivity on controller, so I can always spin around. If I'm on mouse, I'm usually, my DPI is already quite high. So I'll already just like turn with him. I'm like, hey, you want to spin? I can spin too. I'll spin right with him and swing at him. I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, I'll swing. You know what I mean? It takes timing, of course, to get it right. But once you get it down, you pretty much got it down every time. Like, you're pretty much good to go. And that's what I recommend. A lot of people would like to wait as well, but I would usually recommend spinning with them just so that you don't lose where they're going. All right, so now we have the locker tech as well. So this one's not too difficult to deal with either. They literally are just trying to jump into a locker to avoid your hit. Now, if you're M1ing, not too big of a deal. What you can do is like approach the locker and see if they jump out again. Because if they have head on, they're going to want to stay in there. So if they try to jump out, then you can either grab them, and that's kind of what they're trying to get you to do. But what I would do is wait and just see what they do. Do they stay inside? Do they want to jump out? Jump out? Either way, you just got to be patient, see which decision they make. That's going to be a huge factor, right? And we're probably going to see it here. Now, the problem is obviously is the that like it's pretty effective against like a chainsaw, depending. Now, if you're using Bubba, for example, obviously what you want to do is like slam it and tantrum on the locker itself, because people like who are going against Bubba probably will not know the timing. So what you want to do is like slam yourself against it so you can tantrum, because if they jump out at the wrong time, they will get downed by the chainsaw. So what you do is you slam against it with Bubba. If you have Bubba, just slam against it. Let the thing spin it. Like if you want to spin your camera a little bit, try to see if it could help throw off your timing. If they jump out at the wrong time, they will die. And if they don't, then they're going to have to jump out in front of you anyway. Which allows you to at least get an M1, or potentially you can start to saw them again. Now, if you're playing Billy, it's a little bit different. Like you're gonna have to, if there is a locker nearby, you need to be able to time it correctly where you can down them before they reach the locker, which can be pretty annoying, but it is a thing. It does happen. And thankfully, if you're playing Billy, you're probably not going to be next to lockers every single time. But still. Yeah, and I don't know why bro is like, yeah, this is another mistake I'm saying. Why, what, like, this guy right here flying off. Where are you going, bro? You know what I mean? So don't do that. That's for sure. Don't do what that guy's doing. I don't know. He starts flying off into the sunset. Like, bro, go up to that locker, bro. So that's mainly how that works, right? Let's go ahead and see what the next one does. So now we have the dumb tech we can cover briefly. Let's go ahead and see what that one looks like, just so I can have an example. So they said it isn't really a tech, but it manages to work apparently, but you know, against very low level killer players, unfortunately. So as you can see, what they try to do is they try to like for example, in that situation, while they're breaking the pallet, they try to like crouch next to you, which I've noticed that when I was coming up with when I was playing Ghostface, I saw that a lot, and I was like, why are we doing that? Like, who is that supposed to like work on? But I'm guessing maybe it worked on all the killers that they've gone against prior to me, so I guess that's why it was like working. They're like, oh, I'm gonna try it again. I'm like, it's not gonna work. Like, if anything, it gives you a free hit because you ran right back into me. Like, that makes absolutely no sense. But obviously the counter is pretty simple. Just wait and hit them. You know what I mean? Because if you're trying to turn and swing like that, you're gonna get caught off guard. Like I keep saying, and this happens with almost every tech in this that you're gonna be facing. Be patient. You need to be patient and pay attention. But now that you know that these techs exist, you know what to look out for. Because like with that clown, for example, bro started swinging all over the place. Like I don't entirely understand why he's doing that. Or another one, as you saw there, which was like the survivor will vault into you to prevent you from getting your pallet break animation. So when they do that, and then they obviously see somebody vaulting towards them, they think, oh, I gotta start swinging. Like, no, you don't. Like, you're not gonna be able to hit them, especially if you're in stun. You're still locked out of your controls. You can't do anything yet. And when it comes down to people vaulting into you while they're injured and you're not stunned, then that's a whole nother situation. You could get a free grab. But that's besides the point. So I think that might be all of the text that we have to worry about. So there you have it. That is probably, we've covered pretty much every tech that was in the video, and I offered a counter for all of them for you killer players out there that probably need that information or are starting out with killer. At least you have a little bit of a little crash course as to how to counter all of it. Let me know your guys' thoughts, and consider becoming a member on YouTube or Patreon, or even subbing on Twitch. I will see you guys in the next one. All right, let's go ahead and read off these wonderful members. We got Patreon, Crow Vader. All my YouTube members, Brando, Evil Blade, Cap Courteous, WTF You're Not J-Lo, Evil Peach, Cargan Falcon, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Jack, Christian, and Crow Vader. Really appreciate you guys supporting, man. And if you also subbed on Twitch, just know that you got love coming your way too. Appreciate you guys, man.